Emily Carter was 16 when she found the diary hidden in the back of her mother's old cedar chest. It was a rainy afternoon in a small town outside Portland, Oregon, the kind of day when the sky felt heavy and the house felt too quiet. Emily had been cleaning the attic reluctantly, surrounded by boxes of forgotten memories. The diary's leather cover was worn, its pages yellowed with age. At first, she thought it belonged to her mother, but the name written inside was unfamiliar. Something about it made her heart race, as if the book had been waiting just for her. That night, Emily opened the diary in her bedroom, the sound of rain tapping against the window. The handwriting was neat but emotional, filled with thoughts, dreams, and regrets. The writer was a teenage girl named Anna, living in the same town decades earlier. As Emily read, she felt an instant connection. Anna wrote about feeling invisible, about wanting more from life, and about being afraid to speak her truth. Emily saw herself in those words, feeling the same loneliness and confusion she had never been able to explain to anyone. As days passed, Emily became obsessed with the diary. Every spare moment was spent reading Anna's entries. The diary described places Emily recognized: the old library downtown, the river trail, the abandoned movie theater. It felt as though Anna's voice was reaching across time, guiding her. One entry spoke about a dream of leaving town to pursue art in New York, a dream Anna never seemed to fulfill. Emily, who secretly loved writing, felt something awaken inside her, a quiet courage she had never known before. One afternoon, Emily reached an entry that changed everything. Anna wrote about a terrible mistake she had made, one that cost her a chance at happiness. She described staying silent when she should have spoken up, letting fear decide her future. Emily closed the diary, tears filling her eyes. She realized how often she did the same thing, staying quiet at school, hiding her talents, and letting others decide who she should be. The diary was no longer just a story, it was a warning. At school, Emily began to notice changes in herself. She raised her hand in class for the first time in years. She joined the creative writing club, even though the idea terrified her. Each time she felt fear, she remembered Anna's words and pushed forward. The diary felt like a companion, reminding her that regret was far heavier than fear. Her teachers noticed her confidence growing, and her classmates began to see her differently, not as the quiet girl in the back row, but as someone with something to say. Emily's relationship with her mother also began to change. One evening, she asked her mother about the diary. Her mother's face went pale, then soft with sadness. She revealed that Anna was her older sister, Emily's aunt, who had passed away young after a life full of what-ifs. The diary had been kept hidden because it held too much pain. Emily listened quietly, realizing the weight of the legacy she had stumbled upon. The diary wasn't just changing her life, it was connecting her to a family story she had never known. After that conversation, Emily read the diary with new understanding. She saw not just Anna's sadness, but her strength, her intelligence, and her unfulfilled potential. Emily felt a responsibility to live differently, to honor the dreams Anna never achieved. She started writing every night, inspired by the diary's honesty. Her words poured out freely, stories filled with hope, fear, and determination. Writing became her escape and her purpose, something that made her feel alive. Months later, Emily entered a national writing competition she had once been too afraid to consider. She poured her heart into the story, inspired by Anna's diary but shaped by her own voice. Waiting for the results felt endless. When the email finally arrived, Emily's hands shook as she opened it. She had won first place and earned a scholarship to a summer writing program in New York. In that moment, she felt as though Anna was smiling somewhere beyond time. The summer in New York changed Emily in ways she never imagined. She met young writers from across the country, shared her work openly, and learned to trust her voice. For the first time, she felt truly seen. She often thought about how close she had come to never discovering the diary, to never believing in herself. Each success felt like a step not just for her, but for Anna as well. The past and present seemed to walk beside each other. When Emily returned home, she placed the diary back in the cedar chest, but it no longer felt hidden. It felt honored. She started her own diary, writing honestly about her fears and dreams, determined not to repeat the silence that had trapped Anna. The house felt warmer now, filled with understanding rather than unspoken pain. Emily and her mother grew closer, sharing stories, laughter, and healing conversations that had been avoided for years. As Emily prepared for college, she reflected on how one simple discovery had changed everything. The diary taught her that words have power, that silence can shape a life, and that courage often begins in quiet moments. She learned that the past does not have to repeat itself, it can guide, teach, and inspire. Emily felt grateful for the girl who wrote those pages, unknowingly shaping a future she would never see. Years later, Emily would become a published author, known for stories about self-discovery and courage. In interviews, she often spoke about the importance of listening to the voices that come before us. She never mentioned the diary by name, but its influence lived in every word she wrote. It was more than a book of memories, it was a second chance, a reminder that one story can change a life forever. Looking back, Emily knew that finding the diary was not an accident. It arrived at the exact moment she needed it most. Through Anna's words, she learned to choose bravery over fear and action over regret. The diary didn't just tell a story, it gave Emily the courage to write her own, proving that even the quietest voices can echo across generations and change the future.